من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to apologize for my lateness tonight. I just moved out from Puchong and moved into Putrajaya, so a little bit further than the previous house. And then I got some guests coming to my house. They just left just before after Maghrib, so that's why I a bit late. Okay, tonight's topic will be self-Rugya treatment, or in the Arabic term it is called Rugya Az-Zatiyah. Rugya Az-Zatiyah means somebody or someone does the Rugya or incantations, or in the English term it is called, sometimes it is referred to incantations, or can we say it's like a charm? It's not a charm. Charm is something to do with magic, but something that is recited to cure, to help cure disease suffered by someone else. Ar-Rugya Az-Zatiyah or self-Rugya treatment is something which is recommended to be done among Muslimin and Muslimat, among the Muslims, because it is one of the sunnah of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For example, from the hadith narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha, where she mentioned that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do something like he will be sitting on his bed or mattress or the place where he used to sleep, and then he will recite the Mu'awwizat, Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Falaq, and Surah Al-Nas. Qul huwallahu ahad, Qul a'udhu birabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu birabbin nas, in such a manner that he will open up his palms like this, and then he shall blow into or unto the palms like this, because the term used in the Arabic is nafatha. Nafatha means you blow with 50% of air and 50% with your saliva, something like that. And then you start reciting A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahus samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. And then you continue with Al-Falaq, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Qul a'udzu birabbil falaq min syarri ma khalaq wa min syarri ghasiqin idza waqab wa min syarri an-naffatsati fil 'uqad wa min syarri hasidin idza hasad. And you continue with Surah An-Nas, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Qul a'udzu birabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas, min syarril waswasil khannas, alladhi yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas, minal jinnati wan nas. And then he used to do, after that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he will wipe his whole body, starting from the head and the face into the foot, or into wherever part of the body that he can reach with the hands. And he did that 3 times every night before he went to bed. And then when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam fell ill, the illness that brought to his demise, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha used to recite it for him. Aisha radhiyallahu anha used to do the same thing on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he or she will use his hands, his palms, instead of her hands or her palm, because of the barakah from the hand of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the whole parts of the body of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam contains barakah. Even the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they used to wipe their hands on his sweat or on his and sometimes they will collect his spit or his saliva, and then they used to wash it onto their body because of the barakah. This is known practice among the Sahaba, and is permissible, and Nabi SAW never forbid them to do so. However, nowadays we cannot claim anything that is being related, claim to be related to Nabi SAW, and then we put our hands, or we put our we put it, or we wipe it on our body and said this is containing barakah. Because first of all, we never know if it is true from the body of Nabi SAW. For example, somebody claimed that this is a piece of hair from the body of Nabi SAW, or this is his teeth or his tooth. Nobody can prove that. Nobody can prove that. And then it is brought by somebody or someone which who doesn't practice the Sunnah, who doesn't practice Islam according to the Quran and the Sunnah. So that's a problem. And we cannot really say that this is truly from the Nabi of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay, the self-ruqyah treatment or ruqyah zatiyah, it is a recommended practice. The book actually originally written in Arabic by Dr. Khalid Al-Juraisi. Dr. Khalid Al-Juraisi, by practice, he is actually a business administration graduate. However, he studied Islamic knowledge, and then he regularly sat in the halaqah, or in the circles of Sheikh Abdullah bin Abdul Rahman Al-Jibrin rahimahullah ta'ala, the renowned Sheikh from the Saudi Arabia. And then the Sheikh Al-Jibrin rahimahullah ta'ala used to write his introduction or his preface for the book. Okay, first of all, let us so this is the writing of Sheikh Abdullah bin Abdul Rahman Al-Jibrin. So let us see what is the preface contains from the renowned Sheikh. He said, in the name of Allah, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon His noblest Prophet and the Messenger Muhammad, upon his kin and upon his companions. I have read this booklet on treatment by Rugya from the Quran and sound hadith. Sound hadith here means the Sahih hadith. Sound hadith. In the English terms, whenever we read or whenever we heard about sound hadith, it actually referred to Sahih. Sahih or Hasan. Yeah. The list is Hasan hadith. Obviously, Brother Khalid ibn Abdul Rahman Al-Juraisi has done a great job selecting useful established supplication as well as suitable Quranic verses. And this is the acknowledgement, recognition from the Sheikh. Because Sheikh Abdul Rahman Al-Jibrin he was one of the members of the Committee of Fatwa of the Saudi Arabia. Committee of Fatwa, Lajnah Daima Lil Buhus wal Ifta, or they call it the Permanent Committee for Research and Fatwa of Saudi Arabia. And one of the members of this Lajnah or this committee was Sheikh Ibn Baz rahimahullah ta'ala. The selected ruqyah can be easily used by any sensible adult to treat himself or his family members. They can be also used as daily and nightly prayers for protection from Satan and his allies. So actually everyone, like I've mentioned before in our previous classes, every Muslim and Muslimah can do ruqyah on his on him or herself, because whatever we use for the ruqyah according to the Sharia is from the Quran and the hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which we obligatory for us to study, obligatory for us or recommended for us to memorize it. The list is Surah Al-Fatiha, the list is Surah Al-Fatiha or Ayatul Kursi, Al-Mu'awwizat. Yeah, it's very simple. It's not that you must be a Hafiz Quran of 30 juzu, you have to memorize the whole Quran in order for you to be a Ruqyah practitioner. No. And with that matter in mind, it means that nobody shall depend on any Ustaz or Ustazah or Sheikh to do or to perform Ruqyah on them. Yeah. Furthermore, people will not be depending on any Ruqyah centers or Pusat Rawatan Islam, yeah, in Malaysia or anywhere. Yeah. In Malaysia we have more than 100 centers, and one of the professors in University of Malaya, Dr. Khadir Ahmad, and his friends, they have done a research on 70 Ruqyah centers or 70 Islamic treatment centers all around Malaysia, in Selangor, in Kelantan, in Kedah, in Pahang, and wherever in Malaysia. They have collected data and some information, and from the 70 centers they collected 20 common techniques used in their practice, and almost half of them, from the 20 techniques, almost half of them are not Shari'i. Even it includes the use of JINN in the treatment. Even it includes the usage of sihr to fight sihr. Yeah, the usage of black magic to fight black magic, and other things that is not compliant with the Sharia. May Allah reward the writer greatly. May He make his effort appreciated and deeds accepted. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon His noble Prophet and Messenger Muhammad, his kin and his companions. Okay, and let us see the introduction from the writer himself, Dr. Khalid Al-Juraisi. After praising the Lord and giving his salawat to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says here, regrettably, some Muslims have neglected Ruqyah. And yes, some people thought, even some people who claim themselves following the Sunnah, even claim that you shouldn't do Ruqyah. You shouldn't be busying yourself with Ruqyah. Ruqyah is, some of them said Ruqyah is bid'ah, and it's surprising. It's really surprising. It means that these people they don't read, or they don't come into classes, and then they don't learn about this, because Ruqyah is part of Sunnah. That I mentioned to you that Nabi SAW used to perform Ruqyah on himself, and he SAW used to perform Ruqyah on his companions, and the companions used to perform Ruqyah among each other, on their family members, upon their neighbors, upon anybody that need their help. And in some hadith, Nabi SAW recorded to say that Man istata'a minkum an yanfa akhahu falyaf'al. Whoever capable among you to give benefits to his brothers or sisters, which he means Ruqyah, then he must do it. Falyaf'al. In other narration he said falyanfa', means he must give the benefit. So it is forbidden for us Muslims that when we know something, or we are capable of doing something, and we don't use that to help our friends or our brethren in the religion. For example, if I know how to do Ruqyah, and I know somebody has been afflicted with demonic possession or jinn possession, and I say, no, I don't want to help her or him, then I will be sinful, and the rest of the people will be sinful, because it's a fardu kifayah. From the hadith, Nabi SAW said, Man istata'a minkum, whoever capable among you, if you are able to do so, please do so. or not please, but you must do. فَلْيَنْفَعَنْ or فَلْيَنْفَعَنْ. This is a clear indication of wujub or obligation. Yeah, fardu kifayah. And Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah even mentioned in his book, the one that we studied before, Idahul Bayan or Idahul Risala fi Umum Risala, when he said that whoever goes out, combating the jinns or combating the demon or combating the black magic with ruqya shar'iyah, he actually is on the path of Allah, fi sabilillah, in fi sabilillah. Because who are the worst enemies for us? The shaitan, the shayateen. Innahu lakum aduwwum mubin. Verily he, the shaitan, the iblis, lakum aduwwum mubin. You're clearly an enemy for you. Others may have never thought about them at all. Yes, some of Muslims nowadays, they never heard about ruqya, or never known about that. They thought that is it is something like it's an urban legend. They thought it's an urban legend. Can somebody get possessed by the jinn, and can somebody do exorcism with the Quran? They only heard it from stories, or they only watch it on the internet or television. But when they witness in front of their eyes, then they admit that, wow, now I believe this is true. But actually, there are so many hadiths, there are so many stories from the Sahaba, from the Tabi'in, Atba'u Tabi'in, even our A'immah, our Imams, including Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, also mention some stories regarding the jinn and regarding the ruqya. Okay? They may even see them as nonsense. However, the faithful believe that ruqya are a worthy means of immense benefit for healing all physical and non-physical, oh my God, Bismillah, illnesses. Sharia statements confirm the permissibility of seeking healing by Quranic recitations and the Prophet's established prayers. For example, I'll say it is the Quran for those who believe in it, guidance and healing. Hudan wa shifa. Hudan wa shifa. Also, according to the hadith, when Allah's messenger became ill, Jibril alayhi salam would do this ruqyah unto him. This is translated into English. In Arabic it is read, Bismillahi arqika min kulli shay'i yuzik wa min sharri kulli nafsin aw ayni hasid. Allahu yashfika bismillahi arqika. In the name of Allah, may He grant you healing. May He cure you of all illnesses, of the evil of whoever envies you, and of evil eyes. And about the evil eyes, inshallah, in the same book we shall see it later on, inshallah. Because there are so many questions about evil eyes. Ayn. And ayn. So many questions and so many discussions about this, and I admit that even myself is still researching about it. It is something that is out of our comprehension. How can our, how to say this? Our gaze can afflict somebody with disease. Yeah, something which is illogical. But like the Nabi SAW said, Al-Ain Haqq. Al-Ain Haqq. The ayn, the evil eyes, is true. It is true. Evidently, the ruqyah literature has a wide range of ruqyahs. Basically, if a ruqyah is permissible and is established to be beneficial, it is used. For example, some raqi is the term used to call somebody who performed the ruqyah, raqi. And the term raqi also used in the Quran. Allah SWT mentioned in Surah Al-Qiyamah. Surah Al-Qiyamah. وَقِيلَ مَنْ رَاقَ. And it is said, who will be your raqi, who will be your doctor or your someone who perform ruqyah for you. Yeah, use short surahs, Quranic chapters such as Surah Al-Fatiha. For example, some raqis or performers of ruqyah use short surah, Al-Fatiha, Al-Ikhlas, or sometimes you can use Surah Al-Asr, Wal Asr, Innal Insana Lafi Khusr. You can use it, doesn't matter, because the whole Quran is cure. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17, verse 82. Chapter 17, verse 82. And we send down the Quran, which contains shifa, cure, and rahmah, blessing or mercy from Allah Azza wa Jal. For whom? Lil mu'minin. Lil mu'minin, for the believers. And it doesn't add anything beneficial for al-zalimun. وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. Except loss, except grievance. And I have tested this. I didn't test it, but I have performed ruqyah on a girl who is a drug addict. And this happened accidentally. Actually, I was performing ruqyah on her brother. Her brother was possessed by a jinn, by a genie, who claimed, I said claim, I don't believe it, but I don't believe the jinn 100%, but the jinn claimed that he loved this man, or she loved this man. Sorry, it's not he loved this man with like something. She loved this man because, and the jinn, the character of the jinn appeared to be like a feminine, a feminine figure or feminine character. Even the voice of the man changed into somewhat feminine voice, Aku suka dia, something like that, If you witness it, I am sure you will, blast into laugh. You will be laughing, because I almost laugh myself. And I did laugh in a lot of cases, so many weird and funny reactions when people get possessed by the jinn, and really I turn into quite a laughter, and then they said, but it helps actually when we act, when we act with how to say this, with relaxed and calm appearance, and then the patients and the family members will be relaxed. If we look tense, if we come to them with the like a bomo style, like kau jin, kau kena keluar daripada badan orang ni. You don't have to do that, because the jinn is like normal human beings. They are Allah's creatures, just like us, and they are mukallafun, and they are creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who are burdened with the Sharia. They must follow Islam. They must follow the Sharia of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the way we talk to the jinn when he or she speaks with the tongue of the human being that he possessed, we speak naturally. Like kau siapa, datang dari mana, who are you, where you come from, who are you, disturb this man, go away lah, don't kacau lah, something like that. You don't have to do some actions, kau keluar. Some people like to do that, but that just for the drama lah. Just for the drama, really. Extra impact lah, Then it will make the family members or the waris of the patient will be more depressed and more stressed. So, this will be the difficult situation. But sometimes I like to laugh, I like to laugh with the jinn and say, kau ni kelakar lah kan, something like that, because when you smile, when you laugh, hey, why this Ustaz laughing? Means this something that nothing to be taken seriously. You shouldn't be afraid of them, of the jinn. You shouldn't be afraid of the jinn, and you shouldn't be looked as if as you can't solve the problem, or it's very difficult to solve the problem. Show to the patient or show to the family members that actually it's very easy. All you have to do is to recite the Quranic verses, to perform your prayers, or to to ask Allah's protection and help, and tawakkal on Allah. Place your tawakkal upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and in most cases, alhamdulillah, the jinn possession or the disturbance will go away, definitely. But this kind of thing that we have to discuss in details. I can show to you the video where I performed this Rugya on someone in Kota Damansara a few years back. Okay, and then some of them will recite long surah, for example Surah Al-Baqarah, and this will take some time, and it will it is usually recited for heavier cases, for the patient who have suffered the illness for a long time, or the disturbance is so strong, is so annoying, because what I mean annoying is that the victim, the possessed person has been so his life or her life has been so chaotic. He or she can do anything, cannot go to work, cannot be with his or her spouse, cannot be with his or her children, and this problem has been suffered for a long time, for years or for months. Also, a selection of surahs can be used, Al-Fatiha plus Al-Falaq, An-Nas. Sometimes you can combine many verses. Some may even use only one ayah, Ayatul Kursi. What you do is just you recite Ayatul Kursi more than one time. You can recite it 20 times, even 100 times, as many as you wish, or until the problem is solved, inshallah. Now, sometimes the problem will be solved only by performing azan. Some people ask, can we use azan for Rugya? Why not? As long because the ulama, the jumhur, or I say the ijma, sorry, not jumhur, ijma means consensus for all scholars of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. They mention that there are 3 shurut, or there are 3 conditions for any Rugya to be considered as Shar'i. First of all is it must be from the Quran, or to use the asma and sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, means the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, in the dua of Jibril, he recited Bismillahi arqika. He used the name of Allah, Bismillah, in the name of Allah. Or you can use Ash-Shafi. For example, in dua, Azhibil ba'sa rabban nas, Ishfi wa anta shafi, wa anta shafi, or Ya Shafi, Ishfihi. For example, you can use the name and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, the second condition is to use or to recite the Ruqyah in Arabic or any languages understood by the patient or the victim. For example, if it is from the Quran, then it's compulsory to use the original text of the Quran. You cannot translate the Surah Al-Fatiha into Malay or into English. You can't do that. You can't do that. Can he stay in the room? Okay, boleh. Humayd. Second condition is to use the Arabic language or Malay language, or any language that is, can be understood by the patient. One can use any language. For example, if the patient or if the jinn converse in, for example, in Javanese language, Jawa, bahasa Jawa, cakap Jawa. It's okay for the Raki to use the Japanese language, or Siamese language, or any languages. But it is not something that carry any meaning. For example, there's one jampi, or there's one mantra used to cure someone who is, to say this, someone who is, experiencing a mental illness. The Rugya or the jampi read Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Allah ahad tutub ahad dini, dikencing Allah, la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. It is in Malay language combined with Arabic or Islamic, how to say this, verse or recitations, but it contains things that cannot be understood. What do you mean with dikencing Allah? Or some use kur Allah, for example. Kur Allah, kur is a Malay language, a Malay word. It's old word. It's a classical word. Kur means to insult someone. So kur Allah means you are insulting Allah. You are, how to say, to curse Allah. To curse Allah SWT. Sometimes they use that, because in order for any sihr, any magic, or in order for us to call the jinn or the shaitan to help us, we must perform shirk or kufr towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why some magicians, some black magicians, they will call their jinn, or they will call their khadam, to perform any treatment or to perform any black magic, and then the jinn will give him some conditions. First, or one of them, it can be the magician must tie a mushaf of the Quran under his feet, like a slipper, like a shoe, and then he must walk with that into the toilet. Yes. And some of them will write any Quranic verses, for example, Al-Fatiha or Qul Huwallahu Ahad, with the ink made of, sorry to say, the menses blood. Yes, this is the way how the sihr, the magic being performed, and that is why the shaitan willing to help. If you don't want to do that, no, I'm a believer, I must perform my salat, I never shirik to Allah SWT, then what's the point for the shaitan to help you? Yeah, because we must remember the vow of the Iblis is to bring all the Bani Adam, to bring all the humankinds into the Jahannam, to the hell with him. And he will do anything to make this happen. Okay? So it's very critical for us to understand this concept. Sometimes water, oil or honey is used. Oil here means the zaitun or olive oil. The Raqi recites the Ruqya unto clean water to be drunk by the patient, unto oil to be rubbed onto the body, or unto honey to be eaten, or any kind of food or drinks that it is halal for you to consume. That doesn't necessarily a Zamzam water, but if you have Zamzam water, that's be better. Yeah, because Zamzam water, ma'u Zamzam lima shuribalah, because ma'u Zamzam is drunk with the intention of why you drink it for. If you drink it with the purpose or with the niyyah that Allah SWT will give you health or health or wealth or success in this dunya and akhirah, inshallah you will get it. Lima shuribalah. For example, to perform ruqyah on water is very simple. A lot of people ask me to do or to provide them with air penawar. Air penawar is ma'u shifa. Ma' shifa, or some water that can that can be drunk to purify their heart, penenang hati, pemersih hati, pelembut hati, something like that. Well, even though it is no clearly, there's no clear evidence of such practice. I mean the air penawar, air penenang hati. But for air penawar, or the water to be used as a cure with Rugya, there is evidence, because there are a lot of supporting fatwa from renowned ulama, including Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, including Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah rahimahullah ta'ala. And it's very simple. If you have this kind of water, for example drinking water or mineral water, what you do is you can recite any Quranic verses. For example, A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Arrahmanir rahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. And it just spit into the water with the air and some saliva. Not too many. What I mean is saliva, not the mucus, the saliva. You don't have to. Don't add any extra flavor for that. All right, just whatever the remaining of the saliva in your mouth, in the mouth. And why we must use the saliva? Because it is sunnah. It is sunnah because it is done by the Sahaba and the Prophet, even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to spit on his finger, and then he touched the ground and he took some soil, and then he will put on the affected part of the body. Yes, it can be done. And Rugya, actually, the way how we use it and whatever medium to do Rugya with it is very, it's a wide topic. It's a very flexible. There's no SOPs. There's no standard operating procedure for Rugya. As long as it complies with the three conditions that I mentioned before: Quran, or the name of Allah, or the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Secondly, in Arabic or any understandable language. And thirdly, the third condition is that the Rugya shouldn't be, one shouldn't believe that the Rugya itself that cures, but with the permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are the three conditions of Rugya Syar'iyyah. As long as it complies with these three conditions, it's okay. But whatever medium or whatever substance that you want to use, you can do the same thing on zaytun or olive oil. You can do the same thing on honey. Yeah, you can do the same thing on habd sauda or anything, even rice, even vegetables. If you feel you are ill, your wife serve you with normal Malay dishes, nasi or rice with chicken curry or with vegetables, and you want to do Ruqyah on them, never mind, doesn't matter. Kambing golek pun boleh, no problem, insyaAllah. There's no restrictions on that. There's no restrictions, and it's very wide. I mean, is very flexible. Yeah, like I said, it's no SOP. Because if somebody tells you that we must follow purely from the hadith, then how can we Rugya a person with only saying ukhruj aduwallah inni Rasulullah? You are not Rasulullah. Because in one case, in one hadith, Nabi SAW said to this person, actually he's saying to the jinn inside this person's body, he said, Ikhsa aduwallah or ukhruj aduwallah Inni Rasulullah. Go out or go away, O enemy of Allah. Verily, I am the messenger of Allah. And how can you perform this if you say that we must follow the hadith only? How you want to say it in front of other people? This Rugya is specifically for Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's his specialty. It's special for him because he's the messenger of Allah. But for us, no. For us, we must recite from the Quran and from the dua that he taught us. You know what I mean? And then there's no there's no restrictions in the use of the substance. It can be anything. Even in Malay world, actually, in Malay medicines, there are so many plants, herbs that being used for medicine, for medication. We can use that also, no problem. Apa-apalah, ulam-ulaman, the pegaga ke, ulam raja ke apa, you can ruqyah. You can do ruqyah on that, no problem, insyaAllah. In all the above mentioned examples, the raqi uses a permissible ruqyah which he believes to be beneficial and suitable for a particular patient. Which he believes to be beneficial and suitable. What he means here is that we shall look into the case-by-case scenario. Means, if the person is being afflicted, or if being believed to be afflicted with sihr, with black magic, then recite, verses which contains something to do with magic. For example, ayat 102 from Surah Al-Baqarah, or from the Surah Al-A'raf, or Surah Yunus, for example, from Surah An-Nas or Surah Al-Falaq, whichever verses that contains something about magic. For example, in Surah 102, Surah Al-Baqarah, وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَى الْمَلَكَيْنِ بِبَابِلَ هَارُوتَ وَمَارُوتَ. For example, until the end of the ayah. The verse actually explaining about the origin of the sihr, which was taught by the Harut and Marut, two angels who were sent down by Allah Azza wa Jalla as a test for the humans and the jinn. And that was the time of Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam. In the Jewish tradition, they claim or they accuse the Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam is practicing magic, and that he possessed a book that contains this knowledge, and that he hid it under his throne. That is why the Zionists try to dig the Temple of Solomon, which is beneath the Masjid al-Aqsa. They want to conquer the world because they said Nabi Sulaiman al-Islam, he can control not only the realm of human, but the realm of the jinn and animals. He can control the winds, but we must remember all of that are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And like his prayer, qala rabbi ighfir li wa hab li mulkan la yanbaghi li ahadin min ba'di. Oh my Lord, he said, oh my Lord, forgive me and bestow upon me mulkan, power, government, or kingdom, which is not eligible for anybody after me. Right? So this is what we should understand. That's why, including the power upon the jinn, nobody can control the jinn. Only him, only Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam. That is why Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you remember, I actually mentioned this before, when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was performing a salah, and then he saw an ifrit among the jinn tried to crush unto him. and then he caught his neck, and then he wanted to tie the jinn on one of the pillars of the Masjid al-Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he remembered the dua of Nabi Sulaiman, and then he released the jinn, and then the jinn ran away in embarrassment. And it's recorded in a sound hadith, in Sahih hadith, even in Sahih Bukhari. Yeah. So that is why anybody who claims that he can catch the jinn, he is pure liar. He is a pure liar. Kazab. Somebody sent me a text message, say, Assalamualaikum Ustaz, I heard that you can catch a jinn. You know, I need your help. And I said, no, I cannot catch the jinn. Yeah. And then if you want to help on the ruqyah or in the treatment, inshallah we can help. But to catch the jinn, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. Yeah. I cannot even catch a cockroach even. Okay, so and then the people continue. This is based on the prophets saying, let me see your ruqyah. Ruqyah are valid provided that they are void of shirk. This means Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is being asked. He was being asked about ruqyah because in the beginning of Islam in Mecca, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbid any form of ruqyah, because the origin of ruqyah or incantations in the Jahiliyah time is full with shirk. All the jumpies, all the mantras, all the ruqyahs being performed during the Jahiliyah time contain shirk. And ruqyah or incantations were not only practiced by the Jahiliyah of the Arabs, but it has been, started since the Mesopotamian time, before the time of Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because Nabi Ibrahim Khalilullah alayhi salatu wassalam, he lived in the reign of King Nimrod. And King Nimrod was one of the kings of the Babylon. And Babylon kingdom is the last kingdom of Mesopotamia. But the practice of ruqyah, the practice of incantations in medicine, and I've written that in my latest book, Pertubuhan Islam Antara Fakta dan Auta, I mentioned this history. It contains the prayers to the Lord, and something like in the ruqyah of the Mesopotamian people, they said, go away all evil, or go away all the Satan, or headache, oh headache, oh headache, oh fever, oh fever, oh fever, go away, something like that. This is ruqyah. That is it's a form of ruqyah. So before Islam, all the ruqyahs being practiced by the Arabs are full with shirk. That is why in the beginning of Islam, Nabi SAW forbid any form of ruqyah. But there was circumstances where the Sahaba, because they used to perform ruqyah, for anybody who got stung by scorpions or stung by bees or snakes and whatsoever, they will perform the ruqyah. And then they perform it to one of the Sahaba, and then they came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They asked, "Oh, ya Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have forbidden us from ruqyah, but our friend, our brother, has been stung by scorpion or by snake, and then we perform a ruqyah on him." And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told them, "Show me your ruqyah. I'radu ruqakum." And then when they recited the ruqyah before him, and then Nabi SAW said, "La ba'sa birruqa ma lam yakun fihi shirk." There's no problem with any ruqyah as long as there's no shirk in it. Or like in this translation, I see no harm in ruqyah. Let whoever can benefit his fellow Muslim to do so. Okay. Evidently, some imams among the Salaf, or among the pious predecessor, early righteous Muslims, used for ruqyah ayahs that had not been designated for ruqyah earlier. For example, as mentioned by Ibn al-Qayyim in At-Tib al-Nabawi, for a woman having difficult labor, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal used to write as Rugya on white paper or something clean the following supplications from the hadith in the Quran: La ilaha illallah al-azimul halim, or something like that. Blessed be Allah, Lord of the glorious throne. Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds. And this is not from the hadith. This is his ijtihad of Imam Ahmad. His ijtihad. Yeah. That is why which verse or which dua that you want to recite in Rugya is ijtihadi. It's up to you. You don't need to ask me, Ustaz, ayat apa nak baca? Doesn't matter, brother. As long as it's from the Quran, from the hadith. And then he wrote on the piece of paper, of the clean paper, or anything that is clean, from the chapter 69 verse 35, on the day when they see that which they are promised, it will seem to them as though they had tarried but an hour of daylight. A clear message: shall any be destroyed self evil living folk, and other verses stated in this book. So according to Ibn Qayyim, some of Salaf, Ibn Taymiyyah among them, mentioned that Imam Ahmad had written that Rugya for several cases of difficult delivery. Women having difficulty of labor. Yeah. Nowadays they use the cesarean, but in those days they use Rugya. And it is Rugya, and it is practiced by one of the major imams, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Who doesn't know Imam Ahmad? It would be impracticable to detail Salaf statements with respect to the Ruqyas they based on ijtihad. So it's not impracticable. It is impracticable. It's not possible for us to detail out. That's why the topic of Rugya is so open up. It's so, it's so open for ijtihad. Therefore, not only have I selected the ayahs specified by evidence as Rugya, but have also included other prayers believed to be beneficial for the treatment of sihr or witchcraft, possession, the evil eye, and other illnesses, physical as well as non-physical. By Allah's grace, I have made a great effort in selecting the Rugya, benefiting from the experience of some trustworthy Raqis. Having treated myself and some of my relatives with the selected Rugya, I have found them clearly effective, because at the end of this book, he collected some verses and some du'as to be used as Rugya, based on his ijtihad. Yes, there are three types, there are three categories of Rugya that he collected. The first one is the brief Rugya, very concise. It's only containing Al-Fatiha, the 5 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayatul Kursi, the 2 last verses of the Surah Al-Baqarah, and then, if I'm not mistaken, Surah Al-Kafirun, and then the three Kul, the Mu'awwizat. Very simple. The second is intermediate in terms of length, more numbers in terms of ayah and dua, and then the third is the longest for severe cases. Therefore, out of care for fellow Muslims and seeking reward from Allah, I have decided to publish the Rugya selection. The Rugya selection is divided into 3 parts in order to suit various situations. Part 1 is a brief Rugya from the Quran and the Prophet's established Sunnah. It is for all and has a preventive aim. Preventive, because the Mu'awwizat is prevention. Mu'awwizat is prevention. Kul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq. Say, I seek refuge, or I seek protection from the Lord of the dawn. Rabbil falaq, min sharri ma khalaq. If you read carefully, understand the verses, it's actually a protection. Seeking protection means before you get afflicted, before you get disturbed. Yeah. So prevention is better than cure in Islam. If we understand the Islamic concept of health, actually is prevention. More on prevention rather than cure. Being brief, it is particularly suited to those below the stage of puberty, for it does not burden them. Means you only practice the brief ruqyah if you are below 12 years old lah, you know, because it's easily to be memorized by kids, by children. Like part 1, part 2 is taken from the Quran and the established Sunnah, but it's medium size. It is suitable for all, particularly the cases that need treatment over a relatively long period of time, that Raqi is expected to have the time to perform it. As for part 3, it contains the longest ruqyah for the selection. It is taken from the Quran and the Prophet established prayers, and is used by ruqyah practitioners. It is used for difficult cases which need long-term treatment. But in case of myself, I'm speaking about myself, whenever I treat my patient, I always read these verses or these ayahs. Surah Al-Fatiha, the 5 first verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim, Zalikal Kitabul Rayba Fihi, until the 5th verse. And then I usually read this Al-Kursi, the verse after it, La ikraha fid din, and then the verse after it, Allahu waliyul lazina amanu, and then the last 2 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah. And then wa awhayna ila Musa an alqi asak. That verse, I can't remember the numbers of the verse. It is from Surah Al-A'raf, if I'm not mistaken, or Surah Qaf, I can't remember. And then Surah As-Saffat, verse 1 to 10. وَالصَّافَّاتِ صَفًّا فَالزَّاجِرَاتِ زَجْرًا فَالتَّالِيَاتِ ذِكْرًا إِنَّ إِلَٰهَكُمْ لَوَاحِدٌ رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا وَرَبُّ الْمَشَارِقِ, until verse 10. So As-Saffat. And then Surah Al-Kafirun. If the jinn is appeared to be a kafir jinn or jinn kafir, then I usually use that verse. And then Surah Al-Ikhlas, Al-Falaq, and Al-Nas. Or sometimes if I am tired or if I am lazy, I will only recite Ayatul Kursi and Surah Al-Nas. Oh, sorry, Surah Mu'awizat. Because we must understand that the ruqyah is only the asbab. It is only the asbab, or the reason why Allah SWT sent down His cure. Ma anzalallahu da'an illa anzalahu shifa'an. Allah SWT will not send a disease except that He will send down the cure for it together. But we must find the cure. However, ruqyah is recited only to be the asbab, but the real cure is from Allah SWT. That is why I never believe in the concept that shaitan or the jinn afraid of Al-Quran. That I have mentioned before in Surah Al-Jinn. If you remember the tafsir Surah Al-Jinn, the first verse, قُلْ أُوْهِيَ إِلَيَّ أَنَّهُ اسْتَمَعَ نَفَرٌ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَقَالُوا إِنَّا سَمِعْنَا قُرْآنًا عَجَبًا. That the jinn heard the recitation of Quran, and they said what? فَقَالُوا إِنَّا سَمِعْنَا قُرْآنًا عَجَبًا. Verily we have heard a beautiful and very amazing recitation. Amazing recitation, not scaring, just frightening recitation. No, but beautiful, amazing recitation. Quran and ajaba, yahdi ila rushdi, and the verse or the Quran brings into guidance. Yahdi ila rushdi fa amanna bi, and we believe in it. So that's why I said that this is a dalil, an evidence that the jinn doesn't afraid of Quran. They are not afraid of Quran. But then people will ask lah, so why the Ayatul Kursi and the hadith said that shaitan? Because they are not afraid of your recitation. When you recite the Quran, any verse of the Quran, Allah SWT will send down His guardian angels. And one of the hadiths mentioning that the jinn said to Abu Hurairah, that there will be two guardians. Two guardians will be sent to you until the morning, until the dawn. When the Fajr rises, Allahu Akbar, then the angel they will go back to their place. And after that, if you still asleep after Fajr, then that's your fault and the shaitan. You got to ping into your ears, because that's being mentioned in Sahih Bukhari. Whoever doesn't awake for Fajr or before Fajr, basically he has been peed by the shaitan, urinated by the shaitan. Shaitan has urinated onto his ears. Na'udzubillah min zalik. So this is very important for us to take care of about that. All right. Do you have some time? We finish on 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock. Okay.
You want to
another 5 minutes. Oh, Q&A.
You want to demo the Rugya?
Demo the Rugya? Yes.
No, the
Video, yeah. Sure. Inshallah. I think we stop here.
Q&A.
Yeah. We stop here at page 14, inshallah. We shall continue later on, and I will show you the.
Wait, I bring the set.
Yeah.
In other words, human be possessed by a Muslim jinn.
Human possessed by Muslim jinn. Yeah, there's a possibility for that, because basically Muslim jinn, if he is really a Muslim, he will not do that. He will not do that, because on the that's why in the Surah Al-Jinn it is said, وَأَنَّ مِنَ الصَّالِحُونَ وَمِنَ دُونَ ذَلِكَ. Some of us are salih and some of us are not salih. Even though he's a Muslim, but he's not salih. He's a talih. You know, they do wrong things. The same thing with human beings. Muslim humans, they do wrong things. The same thing, yeah. Yes.
The practice of
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
like this, the treatment before he goes to bed. Then he spit on his arm first or afterwards?
First. He spit it first, then he recited.
He did the other
Yes.
way around.
Actually, for Rugya, actually it's permissible for us to spit or to blow before, during and after. Before, during, and after. For example, I do the demonstration. You can recite before, or you can blow into this water before you recite. For example, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين. Or during the recitation, الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. You can do that, yeah, and then you can drink. Bismillah. Never feel, awkward of drinking your own saliva. If your patient say that, no, I won't drink that, and then you have spat on my drink and you expect me to drink it. No, that is normal, and that is the saliva is the formula actually, because it contains the barakah. Why? Because the mouth or the tongue that recited the word of Allah Azza wa Jalla will be given or will be bestowed with barakah from Allah Azza wa Jalla. So don't be afraid of drinking your own spit.
Ada suara
Ada. Yep. Hold on. I think this one. Is it this one?
Cuba.
Let me try.
One more question here, Ustaz.
Yes.
I'd like to ask Ustaz.
Yes.
Say that person knows how to do Rugya, should Rugya.
Okay.
But if, for instance, asking Rugya, a person who has indulged in not like religion, young, he's been dabbling with the jinn.
Yeah.
There's a few genes that is within him. And as he grows older, the thing becomes stronger. And on the top of it is a drug addict. So
Okay.
a person who knows Rugya, but it's not strong enough. It is not.
If he's not strong enough, yeah, and if it's so overwhelming, then he or she can ask for help. He or she can ask somebody else to recite the Rugya on him, and that is permissible. That is permissible. It's not haram to do so. I mean, it is not something that is forbidden for us to help somebody else to do Rugya on us, if we really can do that, can do it ourselves.
This is already like the nieces, one who help. But you look at them, they're the kind of the normal people who practice the normal way. We're not talking about salaf.
Yeah.
Normal people.
Yes.
And they've been asking for help to cure the uncle. But they themselves are not able to do it. Frankly, some people do it for them who are not strong enough.
Oh, I see.
What got me was that the gene will, transfer themselves.
I see. Okay, I get what you mean. So the person who performed the Rugya has been possessed by the jinn itself. This is real story.
The guy has been practicing for 6 years. So
Yes.
as you grow older, the thing becomes stronger, and the few years got wounds,
yes.
it keeps them.
Yes, it's normal actually. It's normal thing. I like to share with you my own story. The first time I joined this Islamic exorcism, there's one case of a youngster, it's a teenager, female teenager, who has been possessed. I think this was like 9 years ago. After that incident, I came as a student, but at that time I still learning about this Rugya from my teacher. And then the next day, I got high fever. And then I started to experience weird dreams, and really it's a really terrible disturbance. I vomited a lot, and then this what I am experiencing. I went to the hospital, and the doctor checked my temperature. It has been 39 degrees, 39 degrees, and that's my experience, of my first experience with this Rugya or experience. Because we must remember that shaitan hates people who try to help other people using the correct method of treatment. They will never let us to do good on other people. You see, especially if it is involved black magic and whatnot, something similar with black magic, because shaitan will try to destroy as many as possible, to try to destroy good people. Good, people who like to help others. And there are a lot of cases, a lot of examples of some practitioners that being possessed or that being afflicted by sihir, and they are in Johor, for example, in southern state, in Johor, there are a few cases where the raqi or the mu'alij suddenly died out of nowhere, and there's no apparent cause for their death, and they just died. Allahu a'lam bisawab. It is, but it is something not for us to be frightened of. We must remember that above all, everything happened with the will of Allah, even sihr. Okay, let me show you the video. This is an excerpt from Bernama TV. It's on my interview with sorry.
Dan Allah kadang-kadang Allah tangguhkan, ataupun Allah bagi benda yang lebih baik, misalnya ya. Allah.
Baik, kita saksikan ada sedikit bingkisan video. Kita saksikan. Ini dia. Antara rawatan.
Ya, ini antara pesakit yang saya rawat beberapa tahun lepas, ya, di mana lelaki ini dia diganggu oleh jin betina. Jin betina ni suka kat dia. Macam mana kita tahu? Bukan pasal saya boleh tengok jin tu, tapi dialog ataupun berdasarkan percakapan pesakit. Iaitu jin itu bercakap dengan melalui lisan pesakit tersebut. Dia kata, aku tak tinggalkan dia, aku suka kat dia.
Okey, so kalau macam ni Ustaz, adakah sihir ini semata-mata dibuat oleh orang ataupun dihantar oleh orang, ataupun memang kadang-kadang nasib awak sebab jin tu suka awak?
Okey, dia ada dua kemungkinan. Satu ialah jin itu datang sendiri. Yang ini jin itu suka sendiri. Sebab jin ini dia makhluk yang Allah ciptakan sama macam kita. Dia ada nafsu, dia ada syahwat dan dia ada akal. Dan antara perkara yang banyak orang lalaikan pada zaman sekarang adalah tidak membaca doa ketika membuka pakaian misalnya. Dan Nabi SAW kata antara yang boleh menyebabkan jin tak boleh melihat aurat kita ialah bila kita membuka pakaian, kita baca doa Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, la ilaha illallah. Jadi sama ada sihir ataupun datang dengan sendiri kita tak boleh pastikan. Melainkan jika kita jumpa buhul sihir saya sebutkan tadi, sama ada
That's the only clip that recorded or being shot in the TV, on the TV. That's the case happened in Damansara a few years back, and this guy, and like other cases with similar cases, this guy, I can say this, when a female jinn easily attracted to good-looking human beings, good-looking male human beings, and vice versa. For female, the same thing. And I mean, for female, good-looking female among humans will be easy target for this jinn. That's why Nabi SAW has mentioned, has taught us a dua, and he has warned us about this actually. Anyway, he said, sitra, let's say this, the hijab, or how to say, the protector between the aurat of Bani Adam, aurat of humans, and the eyes of the jinn, is that whoever among the Muslim, before he or she takes off his clothes, he or she recites Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, la ilaha illahu, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, la ilaha illahu, Bismillah, in the name of Allah, Allazi la ilaha illallah, Allazi la ilaha illa huwa, or who, yeah, which there's no deity besides him. In the name of Allah, who there is no deity besides him. That is the sutra, or the hijab between our aurat and the eyes of the jinn. If not, then the jinn can see us naked, and then they will be, easily attracted, because this common is very common in our society. And common things that when I witness this kind of case, where people like to, how to say this, they like to, this jinn like to be with, to be together with these human beings for a long time. That he or she among the jinn, they will treat these human beings as he or she is their spouse instead of the human spouse. And this case will lead to what? Will lead to difficulty for intimacy between husband and wife. The jinn will make the wife or husband looks ugly in front of his spouse or her spouse, or it will turn them off, in many ways. So that's the cause of many marriage problems, and then even worse. This I would like to advise myself and all of you. is especially for those who are married couples, among married couples, always recite this dua. Allahumma jannibna syaitan wa jannibi syaitana ma razaqtana, before any intercourse. Every time before intercourse. Because Nabi SAW has given us the warning. He has given us the warning and advice. He said, if there is a child, being born from this intercourse, the child will be difficult to be disturbed by shaitan, or shaitan will be difficult to afflict him or her. And that, in another narration, if we don't recite that, then the jinn or shaitan will join, will take part in that intercourse. Na'udzubillah min zalik. Na'udzubillah min zalik. So this is very important, even though it's a very small practice. It's very, it's very trivial. Yeah, it's just recitation of dua. Bismillah, Allahumma jannibna syaitan wa jannibi syaitana ma razaqtana. Some say, alah ustaz, sunnah je kan, sunnah je, tak wajib kan. Yalah, tak wajib lah. And then you see what happened. Yeah, even though it's not wajib, but the fadilat, the benefits of it is very, very large. It's very large. Allahu Alam.
My question is big.
Yes. Sorry?
I had some conversation where I was this tariqat people who were saying that how do you know that you are the child of your father?
Astaghfirullahalazim. Bismillah.
So, but they were in this tariqat. So, at that point in time, I was naive. I didn't know what they were talking about until I started learning. And I realized what they were talking about. This is exactly what they're talking about.
Because the possibility for a jinn and a human to be together is there. That is why some of our scholars, for example, not some, almost all of them, I mean especially the major imams. For example, Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said that the hukum, or the law concerning marriage between jinn and human, the marriage is valid. The marriage is valid, but the law or the hukum is haram. Sah, but haram. The same thing with, if you can understand this, for example, there is a talaq. In the case of divorce, there are two types of talaq: talaq sunni and talaq bid'i. Talaq sunni means talaq which has been pronounced in the time of purity from the woman's side. I mean, the wife is not on her menses, right? Talaq bid'i is the talaq pronounced in the time of impurity on the woman's side, on the wife's side. The talaq bid'i. It is valid, it's sah, but the hukum or the law regarding it is haram. Means sah means it happens. It is jatuh lah. Maksudnya the talaq is done. The damage has been done. But the hukum is dosa lah. It's sinful. It's haram. It's sinful. The same with the marriage between jinn and human. It is sah means it's valid. It can be done. It can be done. That's what it means. But the hukum is haram, sinful. Allahu a'lam bissawab. And there's so many stories, and some said that this is a myth lah, it's an urban legend. But because of our imams has been discussing about this, and then they said it is possible. I mean, there's so many stories among the Malay people in our society, where people talking about orang bunyan. I mean, kahwin dengan orang bunyan, marriage between the humans and the bunyan. Bunyan is jinn. So many stories about that. Allahu a'lam. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. And if this kind of marriage can bear any children, Allahu a'lam. Allahu a'lam. We need to study it further. Allahu a'lam. So,
ada video lain lagi tak?
video lain ada, tapi tak ada sensor. Tak ada. There's no sensor. The face will be very, very, very clear. Tak boleh. Tak boleh tunjuk. Banyak ni dah, banyak apa? Sebab ya. I'm the type of people who doesn't like to record my session. If I want to record, I will ask permission from them. Some of the videos been recorded, but I haven't edited it. I mean, the face is still visible, and then I am afraid some of you will recognize some of them. I don't know lah. I don't want lah. Confidential. If you see, bukan orang ni, kan? I don't want to do that. Dia fitnah. I want. Yes. I don't know. Because the video clip is actually not censored by myself, but it's being censored by the station. We get the video and then they do the censor. Allahu Akbar. Teruk, memang teruk. I don't know now. I mean, I hope that the problem is been solved, because I've taught him how to do ruqyah on himself and some, how to say this, protective doa and practices. The one that I mentioned before, the similar case, but in Sarawak, similar case like this. I mean, the jinn possessed the man because she loves him. And then after I done the ruqyah on the man, suddenly his sister screamed. His sister screamed and get possessed. And then I performed the ruqyah, but it doesn't work. I mean, the more I recited on her, the more pain she felt. The more pain she felt. And then I said, this is weird. And I mean, it's weird. Why this problem seem like this? But I said, no, never mind. Get him or get her showered. I mean, or get her bath with the ruqyah water, and then I must go back because the time has already 1 o'clock in the morning. So I went back, and then after I reached home, then I text the brother. I said, how's your sister? I said, amazingly, Ustaz, after you left the home, she became better. She's okay. And I said, that is why. And then I asked about her sister. I mean, what she does. I mean, what's her job, where she lived, how is her lifestyle and so on. And he told me that his sister is a drug addict. Living illegally with another man. I mean, berkedudukan. I mean, she got a boyfriend and then living with the boyfriend. Living liberal type of lifestyle, and then she doesn't care. I mean, she doesn't want to change that. So that's why it's true that when Allah SWT said, "Wala yazidu zalimina illa khasara," means the Quran cannot be shifa. It can't be cure. It cannot be shifa except for mu'min. Shifa wa rahmatul lil mu'minin. Wala yazidu zalimina illa khasara. And for zalimun, for people who are, for fasiqun, for people who doesn't want to believe in Allah, who never want to be, to be good people, the Quran shall only give them, it's more harm on them, more harm on them. Just like Allah SWT give a lot of examples in the Quran, and then those people who have illness in their heart, وَلِيَقُلْ الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ وَالْكَافِرُونَ مَاذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِهَذَا مَثَلًا وَكَذَلِكَ يُضِلُّ اللَّهُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Means the people who have illness in their heart and the kafirun, the disbeliever, said that they asked, I mean, what does Allah want with this? All amsal, all the stories in the Quran. And that is how Allah SWT made some of the people gone astray and give hidayah, give guidance to those people that He wants to give hidayah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. It's already past 10:15. So inshallah we'll see you